go to Whitney.com.
Aleeza, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. This is super cool because I've known you for so many years and now you are on Netflix. You made it to big time. You've always been big time to us, so that's good. So talk to us. I know the story, I've heard the story through other people about your journey on Netflix. And why don't you just talk to us about how it happened? Because it wasn't really directly, it was kind of indirectly, right?
It was totally indirectly. They were contacting different matchmakers to set up meetings and to get to know people, and casting was searching for the Jewish matchmaker. And they contacted a friend of mine, Lori Young, the Seattle matchmaker. And they're like, hey, do you want to be on this Jewish matchmaking show? And she's like, nope. But I'm a good matchmaker. I'm going to matchmake you with my friend Aleeza. You want her. She's got what to say. You can put her on the spot. You're going to like her. Here's her phone number. Here's her email. Call her. And she called me and she's like, Aleeza, pick up the phone. People are calling and there's going to be a show. I told them they want you.
That's so great. Well, I mean, you have the best personality for this. So that's great. Have you been getting good feedback? What kind of feedback have you been getting from people?
It's been incredible. I feel like the entire world has given me a huge hug, and I wasn't necessarily expecting that because I was prepped for potential anti-Semitism and death threats and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And I have really gotten an overwhelmingly positive feedback. I have ladies coming up to me and they're like, I love your show. Can I give you a hug? I love you. I'm like, I love you too. What's your name? So
and you're like, are you single? Can I help you?
Right. Can I set you up with? And everybody wants to tell me about their, themselves, their daughter, their mother, anybody in their circles. And it's been really tremendous. And I just feel very grateful that who I am really shines through. When you see the show, like, me, that's really me. That's just me.
You.
Right. I mean, you cut it, you snip it, you paste it, but that is actually me. It looks like me. It sounds like me. It feels like me. The fancy version, Mm-hmm. I look all put together every day in my mommy clothes.
Yeah, I love it. But you have a great style anyway, so that's good.
Thank you.
So talk to us about the techniques of matchmaking. Have you noticed a change over the years?
I think that matchmaking and what people typically think of with matchmaking is, can you introduce me to somebody? That's a matchmaker. They make introductions and they put people together. And that's really only one of three very important jobs that a matchmaker does. And over the years, the other two jobs have come into play very strongly. Okay. The second job is being a mentor, being a coach, walking the walk and talking the talk. So you could introduce two people, but if you don't help them through the process, or if somebody doesn't help them, what are we going to do? How's it going to work? Everybody needs a support network, and it doesn't have to be the introducer who is that support network. And then, great, yes or no, decision day, who's going to be the closer? Is this going to chuppah, or are we saying, forget about it, move on, I'm going to go back to the dating process? And so I believe that the introducer, really anybody could do that job. And yes, there's a skill and a knack to it. And the coaching and the mentoring piece and the closing piece, that you really need to be well-versed, well-trained, or have some level of expertise in it, because getting somebody through the process, and especially today with the levels of anxiety and stress and the divorce rate being so high, how are you helping somebody make a decision for a lifetime? Are you confident? We don't kick anybody down the aisle. That is not a method that we do. We lovingly and gently nurture them to the decision that they need to make. And breaking up is sometimes a fantastic answer. So
I like that. I know.
I've seen that transition happen over the years where people focus more on the coaching, mentoring, and the closing.
Okay. And that was actually, to me, a great explanation, because I know that makes the big difference between if you're just somebody that introduces or if you're a matchmaker. And I know that you have all your really cool sayings, like date them till you hate them and all that. Can you tell us your top sayings? Like, what are your most favorite ones?
Okay, so that date them till you hate them, when in doubt, go out, analysis paralysis, mystery in your history.
Yeah. Did you come up with all of these yourself?
Yeah. I have this side of me that loves poetry. I love something that has a ring, and I love something that's completely memorable. When you say it, you don't forget it. You don't have to remember the definition of it, because in the saying of what it is, you get the whole concept all in one, and you don't forget it because it's catchy. Mm-hmm. And some people are like, oh, but everything rhymes. I was like, well, sorry, I like rhymes, so get over it.
Well, that's why it's catchy. That's why it's great.
I mean, I do have other things, like you didn't hear about some things like 7-day search or hooked on you. And those don't rhyme, but those are techniques or things that have a whole process that I go through as I'm working with people through the dating process. I'm trying to constantly organize my content and the information so that everything is memorable and bite-sized. And so those sayings are really bite-sized pieces of really deep wisdom that if you use it, you can transform your life. This isn't a show about a show. This is a show to give you information that you and the world can use for you. And if you're not dating, go help somebody else who's single.
Yeah, I definitely think people are going to they're going to learn a lot and get great advice from you from that. And all those things are great sound bites. And I like that they rhyme because they're easy to remember. So
Exactly.
when people are dating, what's your opinion on, I guess, the different bases or when you should go all the way?
Ooh, that's a good question. So one of my things is what I call 5-date clarity, and it's the 5-date challenge,
Okay.
which is like, hey, you agreed to go on date 1. So at least mentally agree to go on 5 dates. If you agreed to a date 1, I mean, if it's a terrible idea, if it's a no after 1 date, okay, you could back out. But I want you to, if you're buying in, you're buying in. And people also very quickly physically buy in. Like, I'm not going to commit mentally to 5 dates, but you and we can go home together and that's no problem in date 1, 2, or 3. And I'm like, oh, really? They're like, well, you got to test it out and make sure everything works. I said, but if you don't like the inside, who cares what works? It doesn't matter if it works because it doesn't work.
Right.
But if you do like the inside and then you deal with the outside and how you physically connect, I know it's based on something true. It's based on the essence of who you are. They like you as a human being. And I can guarantee it's not just how they physically touch you and how you feel. It is actually how they touched your heart. And it's how they made an impression on you. And the fact that they stuck around to even date you that long. I know that they're serious about the process. So I very much am in favor of a 5-date challenge, which is, hey, how about you try no touching for 5 dates? If you can't handle that, try 3 dates. If you can't handle that, try no sleeping together for 5 days. Like I will take anything that is a step up from what you are doing. You used to do this and now you do that because you heard a piece of wisdom. Great, I'm in. If it's good for you, I'm just giving people tools, and it's kind of like a workout where if you can lift 5 pounds, so lift 5. If you can lift 50, so lift 50. If you can do 150, so do 150. So you choose the level that you can handle. This is the baseline wisdom, and it's, pick your own adventure.
I love it. And do you ever have to decline a client?
Ooh, there are some times that I feel like I might not be the best fit for somebody, and I'm, a matchmaker, so I like to think that I know. But I have been wrong. There was once a client who worked with me a little bit, and we had a little coaching and mentoring session. At the end of it, I said, listen, I don't know that this is really going to be a match. I don't think it really makes so much sense. And he was extremely offended. Like, wow, why wouldn't you want to work with me? And what's wrong with me? And to me, I was thinking, well, it's kind of obvious. Like, we don't have a banter. We don't have an interaction that is working, and kind of your facial expressions as I'm sharing things looks like, you're
right. He's not going
put off a little bit. And he said, no, of course I want to work with you. I said, oh, then we solved your problem. If I can't tell that you're interested to work with me in business, there is no way your date knows that you're interested for a second date. If I couldn't figure that out and I'm confused, Houston, we have a problem. So that was something that was eye-opening, and that we were able to shift. And I didn't end up firing him as a client. I ended up keeping him.
That's so great. And I know you probably do get that from people. And that's why some people can't find a match because of their personalities, or they might have a face that just doesn't have enough expression and people can't read them. So they don't know whether it's a good match or not. I get that. Have you gotten any backlash from anybody in the community, in the Jewish community?
I haven't really gotten anything, and I don't heavily search for, we're searching the articles and the things that I've done and the press that I've done, we're seeing, and anybody from the cast. I personally haven't seen anything terrible there. I think on the, oh my gosh, it's so late here that I'm blanking.
No, I know. I feel so bad.
On the promo video, they put it up on YouTube, and there's comments, and there are some weird / anti-Semitic comments that are there, but nothing that has personally been really terrible or anything like that. I think even recently today, I saw an article that was something about like, why Aleeza Ben Shalom wears a wig. And it was like this big thing. And it said, these are her religious beliefs, and here's her practices, and here's who she is, and here's what she does. And I was like, nobody even called me about that article, but that was a great article. And that's true. And
true.
I'm not embarrassed or ashamed. It's just my practices, and that's what I'm doing. And they did a great job explaining it. And I still have to post about it online. I was like so excited to see something. And even here's a little like inside thing. When I was hanging out with Danny, I did met with her on camera, and then off camera, we had time together, and my wig was there in my room, and she was visiting, and I was like, here, you want to try it on? And we joked and we put it on, and I want to post it because it was so funny. I was like, actually, it kind of looks like you. It's not.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Did she like
between
it?
That article? Yeah, it was so cute. But between that article and the wig picture, I'm like, we're posting this.
You gotta do it.
I love it.
Do you find that people are different in the different cities? Or like I always say, people are just people. Like you should be able to talk to anybody from any walk of life. So, I mean, are people just people, or are you in Israel? Is it harder to find matches than it is in Philly?
So yes, people are people, and yes, people are different in different cities or places that they're from. So the vibe that I get in LA is very different than Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is very different from Kansas City and Miami and Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. There is a certain vibe, and I'm going to tell you to go back and watch, because each of my outfits matches the vibe of the city and the vibe of the person that I think that I'm meeting, because I don't know I only see, a little profile and a little video intro of who they are. And then I meet them for the first time in person on camera. So, but I literally match my outfit to my city. So Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, the city of gold, Jerusalem, I have a gold outfit on for Cindy. Miami, I have my Shazam Miami outfit that is, very colorful, very fun, a little bit playful. And you see that I bring what I think the essence of who they are is to the table as I meet them. And I'm trying to think if I
notice you always wear that same necklace, or you do wear it a lot. What does it mean? Does it have a meaning?
I wear this a lot. So this is a one-of-a-kind piece. The top part was like a horseshoe that was on a bracelet that was my mom's. Okay. And the bottom part is from a pin that was my grandmother's. And I had a jeweler put it together just to create this. And my mom passed away 7 years ago and lost my grandmom also. And this is just kind of like my, like keeping my family right there close to my heart. And it was worn in the main interview, so it's featured a lot. Yes. And now people are stopping me and they're like, oh, the necklace, you're the matchmaker. And I'm like, oh, I gotta hide it when I'm in public. But I also I have contacts, I wear glasses. I sometimes just hang my glasses through here, which is super convenient. It is a practical necklace. And I'm like, but I don't want to stop wearing it, just because it's my, everybody has like a little tell. That's my tell.
That's your thing. We know that's you. So, you're from Philly. I know you from Philadelphia area. And then you work with the Yentas. So we have Michal and Danielle too. So how cool is that? Do you guys still work together? And are they still thriving on their own matchmaking in Philly?
Yes, they are absolutely thriving with matchmaking in Philly. I actually think all of Jewish matchmaking, no matter what city people are in, they're like, you're a Jewish matchmaker. We saw the show. We want you now. So all of my matchmaker friends are like, thanks. That was really good for business. We're doing well. People are happy about using matchmakers. And the Yentas, we just recorded more podcasts while I was in Philly for my last visit a couple weeks ago. And we collaborate. We send each other clients. We sometimes do packages together. And we are really working very hard to change the world with all of our efforts.
And do you have a fun, crazy story? Like, what's the craziest matchmaking story you have?
This isn't a crazy matchmaking story, but this is a crazy client story, if I can share. I was once on the phone, you're talking to them. How was the date and what happened? What's going on? And this was a client who was from New York, and all of a sudden there is screaming and yelling in the background. And I'm like, what is going on? And I'm realizing my client is in the middle of New York being mugged while we're having our coaching call, because he was like outside walking. Right. And I'm like, okay, Aleeza, what do? You should call the police. You can't call the police. Where is he? You don't know where he is. You think they're going to trace your phone call in 2 seconds? The guy's being mugged right now. I was like, okay, pray, please God, please make sure everything's okay. Make sure he's okay. Right. And I'm hearing this whole thing. And there, besides praying, I really, in that moment, could not come up with what else I should do immediately to get an immediate response. He gets back on the phone within, a minute. He's like, it's crazy. Da, da, da. He's yelling at them, get out of here, you hooligans. And he's like, they didn't take my phone. They didn't take my money. They were just trying to, scare me and startle me. But I got to call the cops and I'm sorry, I got to go. And I was like, you're okay, right? You're alive, right? No gunshots, no nothing. Like, you're okay. Please tell me you're okay. I can't get off this phone. He's like, yes. Okay, I'll call you tomorrow. I'm like, the most stressful call I have ever had. I don't know if I've ever prayed so much in my life for somebody to
be safe and be good. Well, good. Well, I'm glad they're okay. Back in the day, I used to have the go-to Whitney singles mingle, right? And I thought it would be so cool and I wanted to connect people. But I found that a lot of people didn't want to show up in person because nowadays there's apps and people, it's so easy for someone to scroll. What advice can you give people? In my opinion, I think more people should meet people in person than just through the phone or through online. So what's your advice in connecting people and to all these single people who are looking for love?
So first of all, to you, really good food at an event brings people out. You need really good food. To singles, if you are the shy, quiet, reserved type and you can't handle an event because it's just not your thing. So like maybe once a month, pull yourself out of your shell and do it. But if you need to date online, that's why it's there and it's for you. But anybody else, there's a lot of people who actually don't do very well online. They do extremely well in person, and they should be your greatest supporters in promoting events like this and getting people to come out, because it's not easy to run these events. It's not easy to get people places, but when you do it, there is often a match or two that can come out of a meeting, and it's always worth the effort, as long as you don't hit burnout. So I don't like people to hit burnout. I'm not going to say just go until you find your person. Go. You have to monitor yourself and you have to keep yourself in check.
But also too, I feel like when people meet each other in the beginning, they might be like, oh, we don't like the same music, so we don't like each other, or people give up so fast. I mean, my husband and I literally, we don't have anything in common, but we're been married 20 years. So it is what it is. But I mean, I feel like people give up so fast. Can you give some advice to that specific thing too? Like, maybe find that one little thing and stick with it.
Yeah. So if my husband and I went on music choices alone, we would not be married.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
I walk in the room and I'm like, can we change it? Can we mute it? Can we do anything? Silence is better than this.
Yeah.
My advice is to search for somebody that you have things in common with as much as possible, but not the nuanced details things. Like music, you could live a whole lifetime with not having the same preference in music. It's a little bit annoying. We've learned to accommodate. He puts on Frank Sinatra for me, and he puts on classical music and jazz and soft things. And then when I leave the house, he puts on, soft rock or hard rock or something like that. Yeah. But on the deep things, on the values, on the personality, on the things that are important to you and your partner, I really want people who are in alignment. And then we work out all the little annoying nuance things. We just have to make sure we can tolerate it, that it doesn't trigger us to a very high degree.
I love it. And last question, what is in the future of Aleeza Ben Shalom? What can we expect?
I am going to change the world. I am going to continue to light up the world with love and inspiration and matchmaking. I am training matchmakers across the globe. So we started in Jerusalem with over 100 matchmakers. We are planning to bring that to different cities. We want this to be kind of like the nonprofit aspect of what we're doing, because we're offering that. As matchmakers offer all of their time and effort, we want to offer that complimentary. So if there's anybody who wants to jump on board and support that in a city near you, they should reach out. In terms of what you're going to see live matchmaking shows all over the world. I kind of have like a world tour.
Oh my gosh. Well, you have to come to Atlantic City, and I want to be a co-host with you for that.
Okay. So we have to talk about doing an event. Yes. Because I love Philly and being close to the Jersey Shore. It's just like a sweet spot in my heart. And I want to just open people's eyes to matchmaking, who can do it, how you can do it, how you can help. Everybody is either single or knows somebody single. Yeah. You're either in one category. You yourself are single, or for sure you know somebody single. You're not living in this world if you don't know people that are single. Even if there's friends or neighbors or relatives or children or grandchildren or parents or grandparents, somebody is single. You can help them to meet somebody. You can help to build a beautiful life if you take a little bit of effort and time. Learn what is matchmaking, how can you help people, and what aspect of it is something that's enjoyable to you. So stay tuned for some really great shows, and come see me in a city near you.
And is there a website that we can find more information?
Yes. Go to marriagemindedmentor.com. You can go to our events page. Oh, we're doing a cruise out of Haifa in Israel, Soulmates at Sea. But don't worry if you're like, oh, but I have a family or I just have my partner and I want to go. No problem. You can come because we've got group rates. We'll do the singles things when we do them, but you can come and just join and be a part of it. Yeah.
That's fun. That sounds really fun. You should do that on all the cruise ships.
Okay. So I am looking to do that in Miami next. Okay. And we're going to do this one as a test run in October, and then we'll keep you posted.
Awesome. Thank you, Aleeza. I appreciate your time. Did we cover everything? Is there anything else you think?
The only thing I love to do is to end with a blessing.
Okay.
May each and every one of you find who you're looking for. If you are married, may you help somebody single to find somebody wonderful. May everybody have clarity, and may they build a beautiful, wonderful life together.
Awesome. Love it.
Go to whitney.com.